What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for life, coming at you on YouTube, and tonight I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their Week 15 matchup playing the Cincinnati Bengals for the second time this season on Monday Night Football. As you know, Pittsburgh's been playing, a lot of games close together. This time they got a full 1 week break in between games, or close to it anyway. And this was what you would think would be a chicken soup game, as I call it, for the Steelers. It's just what you need when you're going through a rough time. It's comforting, it's easy, it feels good in your system. Pittsburgh has always beaten up on the Bengals in the Big Ben era. All time, Big Ben's got quite the high percentage winning record against Cincinnati. The Bengals were coming into this game 2-10-1. Their franchise quarterback, which was their one shining hope coming into this season, who had made them start to get at least be competitive in games, has been out for the season with an injury. So no Joe Burrow tonight. Cincinnati was playing with starting quarterback Ryan Finley, who has been mostly a third string quarterback in his career. Joe Mixon, the best offensive player, veteran for the Bengals team, was not playing tonight. He's been out for most of the season. He's probably not going to come back this season. So having their best offensive weapon out of the game, on top of that, it makes for home cooking for the Steelers. So you think about Pittsburgh coming off of 2 consecutive losses, coming off a tough Bills game where the offense obviously needs help. The Bengals defense, it's like a middle of the road kind of average defense. Not terrible, but not really good either. Rookie Phenom's not playing. Best offensive player is their running back, not playing. Even for a lot of this game, Tyler Boyd was in and out of the lineup. He wasn't in the entire time. So it seems like this is the kind of game Pittsburgh wants to have to bounce back, have a strong offensive game, get a big win just like they did against the Bengals last time. Pittsburgh won 36-10 last time, something like that. Pittsburgh destroyed them earlier in the season. So you think, okay, this should be a fairly easy home-cooked win for us, even on the road against the Bengals, and we are now the NFL's laughingstock. I mean, there was talk several weeks back, 3 weeks ago, there was talk about, is Pittsburgh the worst 11-0 team in the history of 11-0 teams? And I apologize, I'm seeing there's a lot of lighting issues. My lighting is going from sharp to kind of dull here. I don't know what's going on with the quality of this video, but the quality of this video is matching the quality of the Steelers' play tonight. I'm sure you can tell who won by how I'm summarizing this early on here. There was talk about Pittsburgh. Are they or are they not the worst undefeated team this late in the season ever? And I said, what a stupid conversation that is. Like, why would you even look at an 11-0 team and care whether or not they're the worst 11-0 team or the best 11-0 team? They are, undefeated this deep in the season. There's no such thing as a bad team, so who cares? But now looking at Pittsburgh as an 11-3 team, I can say definitively, I feel like this has to be the worst 11-3 team in the history of football. I mean, the season should not be this stressful. This should not be a team that you're so concerned about. This team, 3 weeks ago was undoubtedly the best in football. They were the only undefeated team left. They were one of only 2 teams with less than 2 losses. They were running football. They were dominating teams. The offense looked solid. The defense looked immaculate. And Pittsburgh was cruising toward the number 1 seed in football. And now, here we are, sitting in the 3 seed spot, now behind Buffalo, who surpassed us, now behind Kansas City, who's got a bigger lead on us. Now we're only 1 game ahead of Cleveland in the division, and we're at risk of losing the 4 seed. So all of a sudden, we can topple, because we're playing Indianapolis next week, the Colts, and if they beat us, they would then top us as well. So we can go in just 4 weeks here from the number 1 seed to the 6th seed. We can lose home field, division, and go all the way to 6 if we lose in the next 2 weeks. We're playing 2 other playoff teams in the next 2 weeks, and we deserve every bit of that. We played tonight like we don't deserve to be in the NFL, let alone the playoffs, let alone the top seed. We don't deserve to be in the National Football League with how we came out this week. And Pittsburgh has been known to come out sloppy, especially offensively. In a lot of these games, they've started slow. They've had to rally. They've had some ugly wins. They've had some close games where they shouldn't have had close games. And this was just tonight just showed exactly what this season has been like with those games, except we never got the full rally on. Really disappointed. The offense came out and had the worst half of their entire season. I've said that 2 or 3 times this year, and I'm pretty sure we can't even top this one. Just listen to an example of what this first half was like for our offense, okay? Big Ben had 7 completions in the first half for, 17 yards? I think it was 7 completions for 17 yards. We had 1 first down on offense. No points. Never in field goal range. Again, 7 completions at best. I think I'm even overestimating that. 17 passing yards, 1 first down, no points, 40 total yards on offense for the entire first half. Every drive but one was a 3 and out for us. That is just unbelievably disgusting to come out so hungry, to have coming off of 2 losses where the offense was clearly the problem, have time to finally think about it, time to get a little healthy, to address the issues, to come out on prime time against one of the worst teams in football. The Bengals are the 3rd worst team record-wise in football, playing without their 2 best players, their rookie phenom and their best offensive player, and you come out in a divisional primetime game coming off of 2 losses, playing for the division. Had we won tonight, we'd have won the division. We were playing for major high stakes here. This game was for our division to be locked up, and we lost to a 2-10-1 team. Do I have to tell you how disgusting that is? For a team that was undefeated, considered the best team in football 3 weeks ago, to come out and play like this, to be that bad. Big Ben himself played his worst game of his season and of many years past in this game. He was off tonight. The timing was off. He was throwing high. He threw a pick. He should have thrown more picks. Just throwing the short on 3rd down conversions. He was reading. He was throwing into coverage when he shouldn't have. He had guys breaking open that he wasn't catching. He just looked completely out of sync, and the entire rest of the offense followed suit. Big Ben has to fix something in his head. He's been throwing high for several weeks now. That's a big problem. His reads tonight were bad. His decision-making tonight was bad. And for a 17-year veteran, I don't care what shape your body's in or how beat up you are, his decision-making in his brain was just off tonight. It did not look good. He did not look focused. And for a leader like him, who's been talking as much as he's been talking about trying to fix the offense, that is not how you respond in a game where you're playing for your division. Horrible. Big Ben, horrible. Offensive line, horrible. There were a couple good things tonight on offense that happened in the second half of the game. Most of that revolving around the run blocking. Benny Snell finally starting to call some good plays, pull some guards, block for the run game a little bit. But all in all, this offensive line should be called to task. And I understand there's been a lot of injuries. I know we have a lot of deep stringers on the bench playing tonight. The backup center was playing and tackled our guard tonight, I believe. So we've had a bunch of injuries. I get the makeshift line thing. I understand, playing a lot of games close together, but there's no excuse. The lack of protection tonight, and I don't even know if Ben was sacked, to be honest, but they were just in the backfield every play. And that has, I'm not going to give Ben a pass for that. Ben deserves most of the blame on offense tonight. But also, the offensive line getting pushed back, just like getting in the backfield, was really, really rough. And tonight wasn't on the receivers. The throws were high, they were behind, they were in coverage. But the offensive line's got to do a better job. They got to do better in pushing the line back on running. They got to do better in protecting Ben. Just because Ben's not getting sacked doesn't mean the line's always playing perfect. That line was giving up all kinds of pressure, getting in Ben's face, forcing Ben out of the pocket. That is not the kind of offense you want to have on your line when you're doing quick passes. Also, something else that has to be addressed: tip balls. Every single week, we get 2, 3, 4, 5 balls batted at the line of scrimmage. And I don't know whether that's Ben staring down the receiver, which causes the lineman to jump, whether it's not getting a strong enough block or a strong enough chip at the legs of the lineman. I don't know whether it's Ben's trajectory of the ball that he's throwing when he's winding up. I don't know exactly what the issue is there, but every week we're getting between 2 and 5 balls batted that could result in not only, not getting any yards on the play, but dangerous because that ball goes up in the air and gets picked off. It's happened to us several times this year. We had 2 more balls batted tonight in key situations. You have to do a better job on that. Defensively, I guess you could say we played pretty well. For as well as giving up 27 points to a Ryan Finley-led Bengals team, I guess. The defense came out in the first half, was really good, got several 3-and-outs, started off strong until they got tired. Once again, if the offense is getting 3-and-outs every single possession, your defense is going to get worn down. It's going to get tired. I mentioned earlier that Big Ben had, I think, 17 yards passing in the first half. With only one first down, he also had one interception and one lost fumble, and a second fumble that got recovered by the offense. So one pick, two fumbles, one lost in the first half. Both of those turnovers gave our defense short fields. So not only is our offense not staying on the field and keeping our defense constantly tired on the field, but giving our defense short fields, which resulted in 10 of the 17 first half points we allowed. We went into the locker room down 17-0, and 10 of those 17 points were on very short fields, leaving our defense with no chance to defend. So it doesn't matter who you're playing against in the NFL. If you're always on the field constantly and you're defending against short fields, you're going to give points up. So yeah, 27 is a bad-looking number. I'll give them a pass on some of that. Later in the game, they had a hard time defending against Ryan Findley's the play fake in his run. He was doing some boot options, and he was faking inside and then running to the outside. Had a couple nice fakes that got me as well. He did a good job using his legs in short situations. Gio Bernard also, he had 20 carries tonight. Ran the ball pretty well. I think he was in the 80-yard stat sheet. So good on Gio Bernard for extending the play, keeping his legs moving. Bengals didn't do much at all passing the ball tonight, so our secondary did a nice job defending in there. We had a good breakup by Cam Sutton. We had one by Steven Nelson. Joe Hayden played pretty well overall. There was only really just one pass play that went over the top to A.J. Green between two defenders. That was a nice play, but other than that, we played pretty well against the pass tonight. It was the running combination of mostly Bernard and then later on in the second half, Finley, calling good plays and making good reads to get around the edge on our defense, which caused our defense to back up a little bit. So they played pretty well in that respect, but I can't fault the defense too much. The one thing I will say is the defense had to get off the field on third downs a couple times in the second half. They didn't do it. Didn't allow many points, but didn't do that there. And then also a couple of times, you just really want to create turnovers. The defense is really good at getting turnovers. In fact, it was best in the league. They did get 2 more sacks tonight, but nowhere near the volume they usually get there, especially against a younger quarterback, and no turnovers tonight. So I think it's maybe the first game of the season where we've had 0 turnovers. So you want to give your offense a boost like that, and they didn't. So that is kind of a neutral game for the defense. I'll get into the stat line real quick. I don't want to stay too long on this game because I'm disheartened. We just lost 3 games in a row, potentially losing the division now after being a number 1 seed a few weeks ago. Doesn't feel too good to lose on national TV to the frickin' Bengals. Doesn't feel very good. The third string Bengals nonetheless. Big Ben, listen to these numbers. 20 of 38, 170 yards. One quick pause. Ben did get to become the 7th quarterback of all time to throw for, what was the number, 60,000 yards? I didn't write it down. I think he's the 7th quarterback of all time to throw for as many yards as he threw for tonight. He got just over that. But that being said, congrats to Ben for the all-time numbers and being in such elite company. But stat line tonight doesn't look good. It's one of Ben's worst games of his season. Definitely the worst half of his season. 20 of 38, 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 2 fumbles, 1 fumble lost. So 1 touchdown, 2 turnovers. Not the best game for Big Ben. Almost throwing 50%. That's not what you need from your leader coming out after such bad games back to back. Not a good game there. Benny Snell showed some life running the ball. Congrats to Benny Snell getting the start. James Conner was injured again. That happens a lot. We got to address that. We got to figure out what our future running back situation is like. Benny Snell carried the ball with some life tonight. 18 carries, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Couple times he got stuffed on some 3rd and 4th and shorts, which we had to convert. Our offensive line was the fault of that. Never gave him a chance. Once again, the offensive line's got to get better, especially at short yardage conversions. But 18 for 84 and a touchdown. Snell ran the ball hard. He did make some nice conversions of his own. He got around for like a 27-yard run. Couple of times they pulled the guard. I love when they pulled a Castro. He's one of the best pulling guards to block in the league. Snell broke some nice plays there and ran hard and ran physical, knocked some guys over. You like to see that. You want to see burst out of your running game. You want to see your linemen blocking downfield. We saw that a couple times tonight. So I think Benny Snell's our best bet going forward. I would start him going forward and see what you have in the run game because Connor's not healthy and enough out to be out there. Deontay Johnson, I want to give him some credit. I've talked badly about him the last 2 weeks in all his drops. I rode him hard. He only had 8 catches for 59 yards tonight, so a very low yardage number, but 8 for 59 and a touchdown. What impresses me about the 8 is that he caught some very tough balls. Been through a few slants where there were 2 guys on him on the inside. He took a few balls away from defenders when they were right on him and some very short throws. He fought for competitive balls. He caught 1 or 2 high balls on the outside. He caught a really nice hand-fighting combat play in the end zone where he caught over the defender. So he was very much in contested catches, fighting for short yardage balls, fighting defenders for balls, and needing sure hands to snag those balls. And he did that very, very well tonight. So those 8 catches, even though it was only for a low yardage number, he made them all in contested situations and didn't have any blatant drops tonight. A couple overthrows by Ben, but nothing by Deontay. Good job, Deontay, for fighting for the balls and making the catches in very tough situations, even some that Ben shouldn't have thrown. He was the only wide receiver that really had anything notable tonight. Claypool did get 1 long one down the sideline on a screen play that he broke down the sideline, so good for him. He needs more targets, get him more involved. James Washington only had 2 targets tonight. They threw to him. Steelers were down 7 points, and they threw on a 4th down and 10 downfield to Washington. Why would you throw to a guy that's had 1 target all night? Get him warmed up. Don't do that. Bad call there. So, as you can see, not very many gaudy stats on offense. Aside from Deontay and Snell, I'm not giving anyone any love on the offense. Defensively, no turnovers. The 2 sacks on the game were TJ Watt, go figure, he's the best in the game. TJ Watt, Stephon Tuitt got the sacks tonight. Again, defense played okay. Had a hard time with the run. Had a hard time getting off the field on a couple of those 3rd and shorts. Gave up a lot of points. Again, but being on the field in short field, that's going to happen. So Pittsburgh loses 27-17, loses 3 in a row to the 2-10-1 Bengals. Pittsburgh now falls to 11-3. We're going into a tough game next week against a Colts team that is playing for both the wild card and the division. They're tied for division lead right now, and they're playing us for seeding. If they beat us and wind up winning their division, they'll be ahead of us and knock us down another seed in the playoff race. And the Browns, who we're competing for the division for, who are just 1 game behind us, are playing the Jets next week. So if they win and we lose, they'll have the same record as us going into our Week 17 matchup against each other. So playing for a lot right now, playing for playoff seeding, playing for the division. We've got a lot to play for against 2 good teams in these next 2 weeks. So not in a very good spot right now, not in a very good mood. Tell me in the comments below who you want to give your game balls to and who you want to call out for struggles. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this complete Steeler coverage. If you appreciate my breakdowns of these games, continue to watch, like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys next week for Steelers, hopefully bouncing back strong with a win against the Colts. Go Steelers. I'm having a hard time tonight.